What is going on? Welcome and welcome back, fellow fans of Clash of Clans. It is your host, Galadon, and that's right, it is No Cash Clash, episode 33. We are 33 episodes deep into this account, getting through Town Hall 8 without spending a single gem, not a single penny. But if you want to, it just so happens that this episode is sponsored by Point Club, and it is a great way to earn extra cash and gift cards. Yes, including Amazon, Walmart, Starbucks, Target, and PayPal. You can watch videos, play games, and take research surveys or shop online to earn rewards. I have tried it myself and it does work. The link in the description is going to get you a free $5 when you take your first survey. And thank you again to Point Club for sponsoring today's episode. Because if I could, I would love to buy the gold pass. A great way to get the gold pass right there, but we won't. Okay, we're going pure, we're not spending anything, and we're getting lots of upgrades done in No Cash Clash. Now, midway through Town Hall 8 or so, we're using non-stop dragons. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's the thing. We really need Dark Elixir because we want to max out the king. We have a lot of Dark Elixir troops to upgrade. I've noticed that the gold gets poured into the defenses and of course the walls, but the elixir, it overflows. It is plentiful. And as long as you can afford to wait the additional 15 minutes or so to train a dragon army versus a barch army, it makes complete sense. Get out there and start 3-starring bases left and right with dragons. Now, I realize many of you would prefer to use rage spells. I have little baby rage spells back at home. We're working on that. It's in the queue. At some point, we'll get those maxed out. But for now, 3 lightnings works wonders, taking out usually an air defense and then hopefully another adjacent air targeting defense like a wizard tower or an archer tower. Now the dragons, I don't know, there's just something about Town Hall 8 and when you're playing dragons, it is so much fun, it is so exciting, but it's funny because these raids remind me of Town Hall 13 P.E.K.K.A.s and Yetis simply because you get to this point where it feels like, oh man, I'm only like halfway through this base. I'm never gonna 3-star this thing. There's way too many defenses left. And then you just watch these slow, lumbering, massive damage output and high hit point units work their way through the rest of the base over and over and over again. So it's been a little bit of an adjustment because now rather than me playing back-to-back-to-back raids, what I'll do is I'll train one raid, go out and hit it, and then set the other raid to train and then leave for half an hour and then come back. I'll even set a timer sometimes to get the job done. And it turns out I'm actually playing more right now than I was before. So like in a live stream, I could just do almost non-stop barch raids, right? Here, even if you're boosted, this army is going to take quite a while to train. So unless you're being super picky with your bases, which I also sort of have been, it's just going to be easier to walk away, come back a half an hour later, and get the next raid in. Sometimes I'll go back to back because you can train 2 armies, but I mean, come on. This is tedious. Come on, dragons, let's go. I don't have all day as they go out towards these last builder huts, but notice we noobed the gold. We got full gold here, and the elixir, honestly, there's just not a lot left to spend because it takes so long to upgrade a single troop in the lab. You know, all the troop upgrades take 2 to 3 days at this point. It does not take me 2 to 3 days to fill my elixir, so let's go ahead and use more expensive armies, but not Dark Elixir yet. Okay, we're gonna focus on saving the Dark Elixir because we want to max out the king first. That's like my utmost priority right now, is to get the king to level 10, and then of course that strengthens your raiding army, and that's what I've talked about doing in the past, is work on those units that you're attacking with. The problem is dragons take 3 days. I do not want to not attack with dragons for 3 days, even though I realize I still could, but it's just, there's so many other things we could do. So I think I'm probably going to do it in this order. We're going to do Dark Elixir troops after we finished the spells that we worked on, and then we'll go back and do the regular Elixir troops last, and hopefully we'll be able to switch to Dark Elixir raids as soon as we've got that figured out. So we'll max out the golems, hog riders, Valkyries, and minions, and then we'll start using those because we won't need the Dark Elixir at Town Hall 8 anymore. We've got the fully maxed out king. You see, so we'll have this big switch, but right now we're going heavy on Elixir raids. In the future, you'll see me going heavy on Dark Elixir raids. Now, the fundamental has pretty much been the same every single time. Obviously, at Town Hall 8, you only get 1 sweeper, so easy enough to figure out a way to get around that. lightning down a couple of defenses if possible, and then just sit back and watch it. Because almost every single time, if it's a Town Hall 8, you're going to annihilate their base. You're going to get through their Dark Elixir. And there's the occasional raid where I'm not getting 3 stars, but it's rare. And of course, now what's happening is I've naturally found myself pushing up in trophies. I'm not intentionally trying to get higher. It's just happening because we're 3-starring almost every single base. And so what we're seeing is more and more Town Hall 9s. They're also easy to 1-star, 2-star every single time. And the occasional Town Hall 10, which even if we don't get a star on, we're super pumped because they're usually worth insane amounts of loot. Now, speaking of insane amounts of loot, did you happen to pay attention at the amount that was available at the beginning of this raid? Now, I know that episode 32, just last episode, we broke all my records for loot that I had grabbed from different bases, and we found that mostly the Town Hall 9s are offering the crazy loot. But as this raid wraps up, and yes, it is going to be another 3-star, get ready because it is going to break yet another record. And this is where I want you guys to let me know, okay? I feel like I'm getting to the point where these are about as big a raids as I will see at Town Hall 8. Let me know if you have done better. Check the numbers at the end of this episode, and if you've beaten them, let me know about it. Also, if you want, you could tweet me a picture at Galadon Gaming on my Twitter account, and I would love to check it out. I kind of want to see how I compare to all of you guys. How am I doing here? What are these numbers like? Because obviously, it's getting bigger every single Town Hall, and these raids, I mean, holy cow. This is like Town Hall 12 and 13 style stuff. That is 1.5 million. 1.5 million, almost exactly, without including the loot bonus, which of course is tiny because we're still only in Gold 3. But 1.5 million and then 2810, that's just about the cap at Town Hall 8 that you're going to find in Dark Elixir. If you want more than that, you got to hit those Town Hall 9s and 10s. Okay, so back at home, we've got, well, full gold one more time. So we're looking at the different upgrades. And again, do as I say, not as I do, or do as I do. I don't care. It's either way. Here's the thing. So what I like to do is I don't want to have like 5 different defenses down at once because that just makes your base so vulnerable. So we're going to go ahead and take a wizard tower and upgrade the wizard tower near the top of the base. Then we'll look for maybe a cannon. And we'll do a cannon here. These are still kind of behind. So we'll get a cannon going at the bottom of the base. That way, it's not like the whole base is just super vulnerable to attack. And then I need more skull walls in my life. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but this is the Town Hall level where you start to feel like suddenly your walls are like serious. I mean, skull walls, that's right, they're deadly. They mean death. And we're going to start from the inside and work our way out. I realize, of course, lots of air attacks, balloons, minions, dragons, but still, you know, you got to do it. It's part of not being rushed. You got to get these things done at your Town Hall level before you go up because you're just going to find yourself falling further and further and further behind. And I get that question all the time in my live streams. You know, a new player or a player who hasn't really researched anything before. What's that one piece of advice I can give? It's don't rush. Okay, of course, you know, without global, we don't have people insulting other players about being rushed anymore, but it's definitely tough to get into a clan when you're rushed. So I always encourage players to max everything out before they move on to that next Town Hall level. I realize, like I said, do as I say, not as I do. We've rushed a little bit, but I think that it paid off in the end, and we're certainly not going to rush to Town Hall 9 because, oh man, Town Hall 9, I'm guessing, will probably take us the balance of 2020. I do not think that we will get 9 maxed out before the end of this year, although I don't know. We'll see. Town Hall 8 feels like it's going pretty quickly. Okay, now we are going to work on upgrading and unlocking some of the Dark Elixir troops, although I don't have any plans to use them anytime soon. Again, I've talked about what the plan is. Max out the Barb King and focus on dragons for now. So check this one out. Right there, we get the air defense, and that's right, a wizard tower goes down as well. So you gotta love that. Whenever there is a base that puts those next to each other, I'm taking advantage, and then I'm coming in the back door because I do love to come in right behind that air sweeper, and it never knows I was there. All right. The big, strong Max Dragon in the CC. We do have the level 8 Barbarian King available, so I use him a little bit just kind of to funnel. I realize it's kind of a sloppy funnel. And then the freeze spell, again, much like the lightning spell, I want to use that as the dragons are taking damage from the significant defenses. Always freezing an air defense, and then if I can, another air targeting defense that is adjacent to it. And if I get lucky, I could even freeze 3. Like if I had waited right here, I could have frozen the air defense, the Tesla, and then the Archer Tower all at the same time. But it doesn't matter because that's right. It's a Town Hall 8. It's going to get smoked. We're going to 3-star and we're going to pick up another massive amount of loot. So we did break the 1 record today for Golden Elixir. However, we did not break the Dark Elixir record. So we're still on the hunt for that huge Dark Elixir take. And I'm getting more and more patient, especially in live streams when I'm hanging out on Facebook Gaming with you guys. I don't mind talking to the chat and just hitting next like a couple of dozen times. It doesn't really bother me that much to spend a few hundred or a few thousand or tens of thousands of gold to go on to the next base because, again, we're after the Dark Elixir. That is our main focus, even though I'm obviously taking other really big bases down here in the meantime. I really want every single raid to at least be about 2,000 or 2,500 Dark Elixir. If I can do that every single time, then before you know it, we will have all of the Dark Elixir troops and spells upgraded for Town Hall 8, and we can focus on something else. And then, remember, what I'm trying to do here is do all of those first and get the king done first, so that then we can kind of make this switch and focus all of our elixir on the elixir troop upgrades and have all of the Dark Elixir troops available so that we can try them. I mean, there's going to be a learning process here. It's been ages since I've done Go Wipe. I mean, literally years. And then we're going to have witches and bowlers. It's going to be an exciting 2020. I am hoping that you guys are continuing to like the series. And please do, if you get a chance, gently depress that like button, make it happy, and that is a way to let me know that you guys are still loving the No Cash Clash series and you want to see more episodes. I'm certainly really enjoying playing the account, so let's move on to the status report. And again, this is kind of a useless stat here. 5 gems last time. Wow, we've moved up all the way to 12 gems. Okay, but for biggest raids, you ready? Gold and Elixir, 1.5 million total. Dark Elixir still stands at a significant 4118. And for our next goals, it's all about maxing the Barbarian King and then on to those Dark Elixir troops. That is what the focus is going to be for me. In the meantime, thank you guys so much for your support of the channel with the creator code and the series. Thank you for sticking around all the way to the end of the episode. Now get out there, make the best rest of your day, become a balance, play, see back over this.
Galadon, are you quite alright, man? That did not sound okay. Must be your age.